EGA European Championship for golfers with disability is a truly remarkable event. Players from 13 countries travelled to Portugal. There were 3 trophies at stake, one for the men, one for the women and one for the wheelchair players. This year's championship was played over the impressive Troia Golf Club, nestled on Portugal's Atlantic coast. This beautiful par 72 links layout is a Robert Trent Jones Jr. design, and it's one of his finest, providing the players with both a challenge and a treat.
It's maybe the most important moment of the year for me, because it would mean a lot to have back-to-back victory in this event.
We get to play against the best players in the world. We have an incredibly competitive set of guys here, and the EGA have done an awesome job of putting it all together. I'm world champion long drive. I had a winning drive of 358 yards, won by 5, and get to call myself world champion now, which I'm very proud of.
I want people to treat us like sportsmen. We are great sportsmen, a lot of us. I have 5 British Open championships and 1 US Open and 2 one-arm world championships.
I play since I think I'm 7 years old, so it's a long time ago. And I play if I have time, every day, every second. Every time I play golf, I forget everything around me, maybe school or problems in life. And it's made fun and I like it.
It gives me the feeling that I'm a person between normal person, that I can play with them and against them, and to beat them sometime, and it's some victory for the disability. It's something fantastic. I really like it. Sometimes I hate it, but when it's my result, it's not good. But every day I enjoy like crazy.
Anyone can come to one of these events and watch us fight it out there. They would respect us as players and as an athletes, not as, feeling sorry or feeling bad for us.
After the warmest of official welcomes from members of the EDGA, the EGA and Troia Golf, all was set for the first day of competition. A total of 52 players would make it to the tee on the first day of the Men's Championship, with the first group off at 8 a.m. And for some, it would prove to be a very positive day. Charles Quillan lost in the playoff the last time the championship was held, and the Frenchman would end the day in 7th place. Whilst the big-hitting Englishman Mike Gage would finish just outside the top 10. The quality of golf was clear to see. This approach at the 10th by Marcus Marlowe proved the point. All the players were impressed by the Troia course, and that included Hassan Shakbou on the 16th green. Joachim Bjorkman is a well-known face on the EDGA Tour. His tee shot at the 4th highlighting why he's always in contention. And the less well-known Norwegian was making a championship debut at Troia.
In 2001, I was out racing my motorcycle and slid in a corner and had rails close to the road. Crushed both my legs. I knew instantly that this one was gone because it was curled up in many different direction that's not supposed to be. Sport was my identity, and suddenly I lost my identity. The first couple of years was pretty tough. I do biathlon and cross-country skiing. So I'm just done with the Paralympic in Pyeongchang. So I just recently picked up my golf club, so it's a little bit rusty being here on the... I know I'm getting beat this year, but when I started in skiing, that was the same story. But I became a world champion there, so it's possible here in golf as well. So it's been a great ride after the accident, actually. Got a lot of great opportunities, so I'm happy.
The Norwegian would finish day one tied 13th. Certainly a respectable debut. There were a couple of other newcomers making their mark on day one. In 2017, Rasmus Lia received the Henrik Stenson Handy Golf Award. The young Swede showed just why on the 10th. Rasmus would finish the opening round in a tie for second. Another doing well was Timo Klishkan. The German would finish the day in 4th place. One place better than Brendan Lawler, who shot a 4-over par opening round of 76. Johan Kammerstadt came to Troja with high hopes of victory. The Swede finished day one in a tie for 6th place. And another to impress was a likeable 19-year-old from Belgium.
Normal people, if the brain just phones the legs to tell them, yeah, walk like this, do it like this, and I don't have a phone. I have to learn to my brain how to walk, but that doesn't take 2 years. That takes maybe never. When I'm on a golf course, I don't feel disabled. In a golf course, I just see in front of me. I don't see down or I don't see behind me. I just see the hole and that's it. I don't feel disabled. My mom is my first hero. I think without her, I couldn't be here today. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. I want to beat Tiger Woods. That's my dream.
Adam would go into the final day in a tie for 6th place. As for the pre-championship favourite, well, things were going nicely. Juan Postigo opened with a 72. Level par around Troja was an amazing return by the Spaniard. He followed that with a second round 75, which meant he led the field by 2 shots going into the final round. One more day to go and still everything to play for at Troja. Each European Disabled Golf Championship includes a tournament for wheelchair players. Faced adversity through life-changing experiences, and some have come to golf after successful careers in other sports. One such player is Monique Kolkman, who has tennis and table tennis world and Paralympic titles to her name.
What do I like about golf? It's like a mirror of life. I do absolutely get excited about playing golf because you can measure yourself against yourself, and that's completely different with tennis or with table tennis because you measure yourself against an opponent. It's like a therapy, but it doesn't feel like a therapy because you're playing a game. The challenge is the rotation because I don't have any core stability. I lose 14 shots, a shot on a par 4, a shot on a par 5 with the length. You're here on a fantastic piece of nature. You find yourself confronting this piece of nature and trying to get the best out of you. The level of play has grown big time over the last couple of years.
Monique providing a perfect example of just that. There are many challenges for wheelchair golfers, but they do produce some wonderful moments. One of them came at the 13th for Shlomo Ivki. The Israeli would eventually finish in 4th place. Richard Bloom also had a moment to remember on the 14th. The man from the Netherlands would finish in a tie for 2nd. The only player to finish ahead of him would be his playing partner, Richard Kluven. Monique would finish in a tie for 2nd. The leading 3 players all came from the Netherlands.
People look at it, and that's important to open their eyes. It's different. And when you can show them that it's different, yes, but we can play golf like anybody else.
The ladies would also go round Troyer 3 times. Those competing were, like the men, a mixture of established and new, each with the ambition of taking home the prestigious trophy. The defending champion at Troyer came from Denmark.
I have been born 2 months early with my twin brother. I have a disability we call CP. It affects my left side actually, but mostly my left leg. And it brings out some bad balance at some point. Some days I'm good and some days I'm bad. I have been playing golf at elite level since 2010. And now, today, I'm in handicap 4.6. I have been in this event, the European Championship 4 times now. First time I become second, and I have been second 2 times. In 2016, I finally won the trophy by 1 stroke. And this year, I have the trophy with me, and I hope to get it back with me to Denmark. When we are at the first tee, we are competitive and we want to win all of one. And we can still be friends afterwards.
Sadly, Meta's quest for back-to-back victories came up short. She would eventually have to settle for 3rd place. As is the case with both the men's and wheelchair players, the standard of play in the ladies' game is fast improving. Amy Bullock produced an impressive performance. The girl from England finished in 4th place. places better off in the Ladies' Championship, Jennifer Sraga. A commendable runners-up spot in her first European Championship outing for the young German. But the winner of the 2018 Championship would be a youngster from the Netherlands. Daphne van Houten came to Troje as one of the favourites. And over 3 memorable days, she proved exactly why.
I'm happy. I'm not playing long in this competition, and to win the first time I'm competing is, yeah, lovely.
And so to the finale of the Men's Championship. 7 shots covered the leading 8 players. The final outcome unpredictable. The title there for the taking. But it was fair to say that the most likely winner would come from the final group. Rasmus Lear and Charles Quillan had this man in their sights. And Juan Postigo set the tone at the very first hole. A birdie extended his lead to 3 shots. The final day of the Men's Championship would be a celebration of everything that is great in disabled golf. Everywhere you looked, the players delivered. Adam Wabi's impressive play at the 4th was matched by Timo Klischkamp. The German would eventually finish in a tie for 5th. Things were heating up at the top of the leaderboard. Playing in the final group, Rasmus Lear's tee shot at the 4th set up a birdie chance. And his fellow Swede Johan Kammerstadt was also making a move. Going into the back 9, the 2010 champion had caught the overnight leader. But the defending champion would be a difficult man to beat. This tee shot on the 4th, just one example of his shot-making skills on the final day. And he wasn't alone in impressing around Troje.
I was born with a condition called Ellis Van Creveld. It never really affected me throughout my whole life. But it's literally a shorter limbs, shorter stature, and that's really it. I was born with an extra finger as well, so I had to get that cut off when I think I was 5 or 6 years old. But yeah, I don't see myself any different. The people that don't know me, they'll be looking and saying, oh, look at this fella rocking to the tee, but then I crack one down the middle and then they're laughing and looking the other way, if you get me. Dad's a good caddy because when things are going bad, he kind of calms me down because the temper could fly a wee bit. He tells me, come on, cop on a wee bit now. But the dream is just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to climb as high as I can in the European circuit. I want to reach European #1. Hopefully I do well here this week and it'll bump me up the rankings a wee bit more.
The 21-year-old from Ireland had great family support all week in Portugal. And over the 3 days, Brendan rewarded them with some terrific golf. This approach to the 13th was a highlight. Brendan would finish in a tie for 5th. Another to secure a very respectable finish was Joachim Bjorkman. The man from Sweden ended the week in 10th place. A fellow Scandinavian, Rasmus Lott, finished 2 places better off. 2 rounds of 79 and 1 of 80 saw the Danish schoolboy end tied for 8th. The final day proved frustrating for Charles Quillan. Nothing seemed to go his way as he finished in a tie for 5th. But that couldn't be said for Johan Kammerstadt. His final journey around Troje ended in fine fashion. The Swede would sign for a closing 74, moving him into a tie for second. Joining him there, fellow countryman Rasmus Lear. One suspects we'll see plenty more from this Swedish duo in the coming years. But on the final day at Troja, there was no denying the defending champion. Juan Postigo followed his opening level par round of 72 with a 75 before wrapping things up with a final day 73. The Spaniard led from day one and was never headed. Juan Postigo's eventual victory margin was 5 shots. Charles Quillan claimed a tie for 5th with Mehmet Kazan back in 8th. But it had been a wonderful week for Juan Postigo at Troja.
It was a good week of golf and a good week of brain, that sometimes you need more brain than golf. It was tough to get the trophy back, but it was a beautiful battle today. So very pleased and very happy to have it back. Now it's mine, but it's from a lot of people, caddies and coaches, and so it means huge, you know. These little things mean so much that it's very special to get it back.
For everyone at Troja, it had been a week to remember. The event highlighted just how far disabled golf has come. We'll see you in 2019.